What's going on, true believers? It is I, Shane. I'm here to give you another Secret Invasion episode review. Today's episode is episode 5, our penultimate episode, The Harvest. Before we go any further, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell right there to be notified of more videos just like this one. Yeah, I'm late. I'm late this time because everyone should know, right? The SAG-AFTRA and the writers' strike. And I do support this stuff. And I was trying to figure out if doing a review actually, counts as like being a scab. You never want to be a scab because whether you all know it or not, did you know that content creators can be part of SAG-AFTRA? Especially if you get promotions or you're asked to promote, someone's product and whatnot. That's very much falls underneath there. But this is not a promotion. This is a review. I definitely looked those things up. So, as I say many times, I can't say it now because I'm not 5 minutes within the video. But FAI, and I write too. I'm a writer, and I hope to do voice work one day. Why the hell wouldn't I stand with them? But what is the harvest? The harvest is what they call the battle. And in game, they call it the Battle of Earth. They really don't have good names for things, I'm realizing. Because I figured they would have said the Battle for the Universe, but they call it the Battle of Earth. Whatever. Just like most people call the Snap the Blip, although we hear Priscilla Fury call it the Snap. Regardless of such. During the harvest, there was lots of Avengers that spilt their blood that day, including Carol Danvers. So Fury had some people that were able to blend in, get in there, pick up those blood samples, and we're going to hide them away. And the only people that knew about this were the ones that collected it. And guess who was on that team to collect it? It was Gravik. It was Gravik, for sure. So that's what it is. Gravik wants the harvest because then gets superpowers as opposed to the makeshift ones they did by getting the coal obsidian and the Groot arm, although Groot's race is called Flora something or other, and then the Extremis, and then the Frost Beast thing that we still haven't seen yet. So that's what that comes from, right? And he has this conversation with Giah about the powers because he heard about what she had to do. Of course, she's still steel and hardened, but we'll get to that. In my notes, let's talk about Gravik first and how he kills Pagan, right? Or Pagan or Poopkin. I don't care what you call him. I didn't like the guy anyway, but he killed him. Killed him very, very early in this episode because the guy's questioning his leadership. He's saying, okay, you won't kill Fury. He was right there. Why won't you kill him? Because he has what I need. See, initially you said you didn't kill him because you wanted him to suffer. Now we're killing him because he has the MacGuffin that you want. I'm not going to lie to you. If they would have said in episode 1 or even episode 2, oh, why didn't you kill Fury? I still have some use for him, actually. And until I get what I need out of him, then I kill him. Now this is kind of like, oh, the MacGuffin. It just does seem kind of just a little bit sloppy. A little bit. But yeah, he uses his Groot arm, stab the dude in the heart. Because he was questioning him. And he tells everyone, he tells all the soldiers down there, he's like, hey, you all are faceless. You have no names, that was explained, I think, episode 1 or 2 by Giah to Beto, the young black-looking one, Skrull. And so they're all just kind of looking like, damn, he killed him. He's like, yeah, so go out there, do what I tell you to do. And the whole time, you can just tell Beto's just looking pensive about the whole entire thing. And Beto does die later because the Skrulls that were there, why, dude? Why, Gravik, do you think that everyone will watch you kill one of their comrades? We've already seen you kill another one, right? And you're sitting up here telling us that we don't matter. You're doing all of this stuff when we were behind you. But now you're just saying that we're fodder. And so they try to murder him, right? With the whole Beto trying to ask him a question, and he's like, are you scared? Blah, 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 blah. He gets a call from Rhodies, And yeah, I know what that sounds like. I'm saying that on purpose. And they try to choke him out. Plastic bag. Child's Play style. Shout out if you get that reference. And while the others are just kind of beating him, they're trying to murder him. And he scrolls out, turns to his scroll form, and he's just murdering everyone else. Like, stabs one dude in the head with his own knife, breaks necks, throws people off. And he had hit Beto so hard, and Beto's like, and whatnot. And oops. And while he's walking to Beto, because I'm like, yeah, dude, you're about to die. And I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything in my phone notes here. But he's walking towards him, and I think Beto calls him a monster. And he slits his throat after, bursting through the window and throwing him through the door. Going, who else wants some? That British voice. Who wants some, bruv? And in front of all these other Skrulls, like, calls him monster, and dude just slits his throat. It's just like, you kind of prove Giah right at this point. And that's all Graphic wants. He even calls Fury at one point, tells him he wants the harvest, and tells him his plan. The literal plan is, so instead of having the president just think that it's just the Russians, he tells him that no, the Skrull, he has Rhodies tell him that, show him New Skrullos, which is the compound in Russia, and make him have to bomb it. And so once he bombs it, it'll start a national thing. Russia will retaliate. It'll make World War III, and at the same time, it will kill innocent Skrulls and the human captors. That's where he tries to get Fury, by the plums here. And Fury, I love Nick Fury when it comes to his banter and his shit talk. But he's like, wondering when you were gonna call me. And he's like, oh yeah, you think you're a step ahead of me? He's like, no, you've actually been killing it. You've been showing me you've been one step ahead of me the whole time. Just, Fury is hilarious. He hilarious in his own way. This is actually the one episode where there was more laughs, but mostly from a cameo. From Black Widow movie. But I'll get to that in a moment. And this is where Fury's going. He's off to Finland to get this vial, right? And Fury's forced to be on the run because what we see early in the episode, he's getting the president in there, and he's trying to whisper to the president, don't trust Rhodes. He's a scrody. And they won't, the doctors won't let him in. And he's just like, all right, cool. Pulls a chair up, sits down. Scrody gets in there, and he's like, you must be out your Skrull ass mind. I love it. And the other guard, the one guard whose arm he already broke, I'm pretty sure that's a Skrull, whose arm he broke, he's like, please do something. And Skrody's just talking shit the whole time. Fun fact, I think it was episode 3, right? It was episode 3 where we find out no one calls Nick Fury Nick. And that was literally, if you had told the clue so much sooner, it gives you the aha that, oh, Rhodes is a Skrull, because let's just be frank here. Don Cheadle's Rhodey, War Machine, sometimes he's written like that, like how he was in that first episode. But when you look back at the way the conversation was going and the undertones, I thought it was a red herring, but he did call him Nick, and no one calls him Nick. And that's probably what made Nick Fury go, there's someone high up in the government that's a Skrull. He probably knew the entire time because no one calls him Nick. But yeah, he does get to he pistol whips him, pops him in the head, and the Skrull already told him, yeah, you know what, we put out that footage that you killed Maria Hill, which is crazy that people know who Maria Hill is. They're like, oh yeah, former SHIELD agent Maria Hill, and he killed her. Everyone's looking for him. Because, a brother shoots somebody and everybody gonna look for him. Everywhere, mind you. Including, he's overseas, so not just U.S., everybody looking for this guy, right? So Fury is on the run. And we get the truth. And by we, I mean Sonya. We find out why he came back. He came back because, like somebody put it, so this is your fault. Yeah, it is my fault. Why do you think I came back? Graphic only knows about the harvest because he had him on the case. He didn't fulfill his promise to the Skrulls. His poor best friend Talos is Tal dead. And he feels responsible, and he can't. I hate to put this all on him, but he shares some responsibility in his inaction and going through things, right? And he even lets it. He subtly, but not subtly, tells Sonya that his wife is a Skrull. When he has so many graves across the globe, and initially I thought that was his dad because it said Colonel Nicholas Fury, but I guess he is a colonel in this series. I was gonna say, oh, so he's a junior because in the 616 canon, they did bring Black Nick Fury there, but he's Nick Fury Jr. So Nick Fury is almost like James Bond, but white Nick Fury is Black Nick Fury's dad in 616. In 1610, he's just Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury. But it turns out no, not his dad. His mother was a single mother, and it's crazy because Sonya even asked, "How come you don't call your friends?" Because we can't keep calling them for everything, especially when it's a mess that we make, meaning himself. And he's like, if our best bet isn't, what's between my ears that my single mother gave me, then we kind of in trouble. And he makes a good point because they can't keep calling the Avengers for everything, especially if you call. He made a point earlier. I forgot who he was talking to. Might have been talking to Maria Hill in first episode, or Talos in the second episode. I can't call the Avengers here because they capture them. Now we have super Skrulls with the ability of Avengers, or they take their face and they cause a national incident. Makes a lot of sense. And we get background, we single mother, so no, that's not the dad. And why is the grave in Finland? That's where him and Priscilla honeymooned. Skrulls like the code. And there's just the look on Sonya's face. Like, it's not a look of betrayal, it's a look of, oh snap, this is a personal thing for you. Like, okay, I got it. And she's really, like, Sonya Fallsworth is badass, right? She's a complete and total badass. And seeing her in this moment where Fury tells her, hey, Rhodey is a Skrull. I'm kind of surprised you didn't know that. You said I missed a step, because she's sharing information because Britain and the US are allies. She's already extinguished a Skrull that used to be her boss, who's close to all this, shot him in the hand and in the thigh. And when people come in, she's like, just trying to show us true colors, because once they get hurt enough, they show it. So she's found information. They're working through it together. I do like that we get the return of the Mask, Madam. If you know who Madam Mask is from the Iron Man comics, that's, with the make my face anyone. He did use that to be a tall white gentleman. He is a spy, so he knows all sorts of languages. He's able to make his way through. He also gets those things from our cameo from the Black Widow movie person, the black dude who helped get Natasha, the plane, the information and stuff like that. Don't know his name. I feel like he's an MCU concoction, which if he is, that's fine. No one's complaining. No one should complain. But yeah, Sonya's badass. So I like seeing her and Nick work together. I wish if this was a movie, I would be damn well disappointed if at least 40 to 50%, at least 45% of the movie wasn't them doing cool stuff together. A lot of people make a joke and say that this is just the Marvel version of Red. Red is a really good movie, so that's not as much of an insult as you think it is. Nick Fury should have got his own movie a long time ago anyway. Did it to Hasselhoff, you can do it for Samuel L. Jackson. But this counts. Where am I at here? I want to say 95, 94. And that room was a safe haven from people from the West Indies when the Nazis came through and Nazi'd everybody. Can't say the word, but you know what I'm saying. They Nazi'd everybody. So that was the last safe haven for brown and black folk. And that's why he liked it. And he does give a good speech to Giah, because he tries to tell her, your father your father died. And she's like, no, that's it. He died. No special this and that. And you gotta, Giah is supposed to be at least 2021, right? But she comes off like, I guess it's because they age slower, but she comes off like a brat, like a really, really asshole brat. And she says like, I ran from my dad because I knew he couldn't win and he was foolish. And Fury more or less rips into her. He's like, no, he did not fail. He was not a failure. Talos chose to struggle, because that's what the building's all about, struggle to get to a better future, because he knew that there was a better way. And I love that. I love that he's defending his friend even when his friend is no longer here. And Giah wants to properly bury her father the Skrull way. So Nick sends her to Priscilla, and she meets Priscilla. And she doesn't know the prayer, and Priscilla's helping her with the proceedings and all that. And they kind of have a moment because Giah is upset that, the last thing she said to her dad was that he was a failure. And who says that? Someone who expects to make it up to him later. And Priscilla's opened up herself saying, she got this house with 3 of the things that Nick Fury values the most. His privacy. But one of the most things he likes is sunlight. He likes seclusion, privacy, sunlight. And she loved to watch him reading a book, underneath the breakfast nook with all the heat and the sun and stuff. And Giah makes the comment, did he enjoy watching you in your skin? And she's like, that's none of your business. No, I'm sorry. No, you're not sorry. You did mean to offend. That's what young people do when you think you know everything. It's thank you. We needed someone to finally call her out on her bullshit. And it happened to be both Furies to do it. You have Nick Fury going, don't talk shit about your dad, because he fought knowing that there was a way to change things. But we'll keep in touch, kid. Right? They're going to keep in touch. So she's Team Fury. That's how it feels. There's still a slim chance that they could make her go, oh, I still believe in what Gravik was doing, but I'm going to do it different. Official Skrull Queen coming, just like the comics, right? And then we have Priscilla laying into her saying, you don't understand what it is to build a relationship, the give and take. And we get a cool fight scene because she's not leaving. She figures, instead of running into her would-be assassins in the alley, she'd rather fight them in the comfort of her own home, which they do. It's definitely a Nick Fury family home, because they got the backpacks that has the body armor in the front, the gun in the front, have a shotgun that guy uses. The scene, that shootout scene was really well done. Very, very, very well done. Here we are. And towards the end now, after Fury has the vial of the harvest, goes into this mausoleum, gets the eye patch, takes off his cool old man coat, and puts back on the Nick Fury leather, gets his piece, calls Gravik back, let's end this. So that's going to be very interesting. I do hope next week's final episode is an hour long. I need to see how we get to where we get in the Marvels, where Fury's back in space. Perhaps he has found a better way. Maybe Carol Danvers has finally come back to help. Maybe Monica Rambeau is the one that's helping, because he is very well acquainted with her family. So who knows, right? I did miss one thing. So, I am interested in how that comes together. I miss when Sonya went to the Daltons, because she got the fake director to tell her about the Daltons. The wife is still a human. It was the husband that was a Skrull posing as her to make sure she doesn't betray Gravik. And I love the fact that he had the gun to her head, because they found the lab, torched the lab, had the information about how they made the Super Skrulls in the machine. And she says this line. She says some really cool lines. One of which is, "Oh, you're just you're just like the males of our species, always threatening someone with was it threatening someone with loss of life?" Very, very smart ass comment. Love it. And without hesitation, just pulls out her gun and pops him in the head. I guess it feels like they are underestimating humans because Nick Fury has given them leniency, and she just just right there. Her other funny line is when she first runs into Dalton's like, "We can do this one or two ways. I can be your bestie, and I'm really good at that, or I could not be your bestie. Cake or death." Wonderful line. Man, I'm looking forward to someone Scrody. Just get Skrull Rhodey out of there. I cannot wait for that. But yeah, good episode. Really good episode all around. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Like I mentioned earlier, there were some parts that are kind of like the graphic thing with now the harvest. Unless I'm forgetting something, I don't remember the harvest coming up. So that MacGuffin coming up is kind of like, ooh, you could have just kept it at the whole, he just want to make him suffer kind of thing. Because he's not happy that he killed Talos. I don't think Gravik will ever be happy because he's just murder happy. Murder happy all around. Doesn't really care who he hurts. He wants revenge. He wants revenge against a people that had nothing to do with what happened to his people. Which basically explains a lot of anger and bigotry in the real world. But that's beside the point. Let me know what you think of the episode in the comment section down below, please. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I thank you for taking some time out. Let me know what you think. 4.5 out of 5 for me. Please, be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. Remember, stay safe out there, please. All right? Above all things, realize that you're not alone. There's someone out there that cares about you. So reach out to somebody, all right? Follow me on my social medias right there in the description. Next week is the last week. Here's hope it's a scrolling good one. Excelsior.